There you go.
Have
Now
you
we
been
got it.
recording
Yeah.
this whole time?
No. Hi. We're doing a video for a couple days ago because we've been riding.
Yeah. No, because we're lazy and we don't want to type.
Lazy.
Actually, because I don't want to type.
So we're gonna do Lincoln to Great Falls.
Lincoln,
first.
Montana to Great Falls.
Montana. It
So-
was a 91-mile day.
I think so.
So we got up and we packed up the tent and headed over to this gastropub in Lincoln.
Which we had the day off the day before, so we just been eating and drinking there all day the day before. So we were like practically family by the time we left.
And
Pretty good.
so we had breakfast and then got on the road and rode up over Rogers Pass.
Which was the Continental Divide,
Mm-hmm.
and that was like 5,600 feet. And so the lie I keep telling Jen is that Montana is all downhill with tailwinds. And it's not true. Not true. But it was for a little bit.
Yeah.
We had tailwinds all morning,
Yep.
and it was definitely downhill off of Rogers Pass, and that
Yep.
was awesome.
That was good.
So basically the day was a long day on the bike, and at certain parts of the time we would head, not directly east, and we would end up with some sort of crosswind or whatever. Eventually we rolled into this little town called Sims, and we thought we were going to have a tailwind from there.
Yeah, because we kind of turned the corner and thought, all right, now it's time for a tailwind.
Now we're heading east, and we're gonna
38 miles left.
We're just gonna
We're
fly
gonna
fly into Great Falls, but it turned out not to be the case. So Jen kind of like started to think, she was running out of steam, and maybe we could camp in Sims, but then found out some news that
They had tranked one of 3 bear cubs.
that was a mother and 2 bear cubs.
A mother and 2 bear cubs, yeah. And they had tranked one of the cubs.
Oh, is that how they
Yeah.
trained?
They didn't get the other one. If you're staying in Sims. And so what had happened is, across from the gas station that we stopped, there was 2 goats in the yard that were tethered, and they ate both goats. The bears ate both goats, but then they were only able to get one of the 3.
Yeah, and according to the guys at the gas station, the week before, like a couple days before the bear got tranked, some cyclists had literally camped in that same backyard. So we decided we would push on, despite the fact that we didn't have such good tailwinds. So that's as close as we've come to a grizzly bear so far.
So as we're riding from Sims into Great Falls, I kept thinking, we had headwinds on the Pacific coast. Why is this so much harder? And then we realized because George pulled all of the headwinds once he met up with us.
That's right.
From Eureka to Portland, I had no headwinds because George pulled the entire way.
Yeah. It's like, damn it, we have to work now.
Now we have to work.
So, yeah, we miss you, George. And your company too, not just you pulling.
Your monster speed.
But so we got to a few miles outside of Great Falls, and we ran into another pair of cyclists that were heading into Great Falls as well. They were a little older than us, and so we caught them from behind, and so we just pulled over and chatted with them for a little bit. Well, it turned out.
So they say, we're from Minnesota.
Right.
And then we say, oh, that's great. They say, we've been off for 13, we took off for 13 months. And then I went, are you teachers?
So yeah, Jen knew who these people were, without even being introduced. Because it turns out that this particular husband and wife had at one point asked to stay with us in Philadelphia.
Through Warm Showers.
Through Warm Showers, the website that cyclists host cyclists kind of thing. But they asked to stay with us 3 or 4 days after we were going to be leaving Philadelphia for our bike trip. For this trip. So, so they were literally 4 days behind us when we started the trip, and then...
But they went all the way down into Florida. They went all the way to the tip of Florida and came back out where we cut the angle.
Right, they're doing what's called a true perimeter route. So they do the whole border of the U.S. as best they can. So they followed the like down to Padre Island in Texas, and then through Big Bend State Park and all that kind of stuff. It just so happened that we ran into him, 9 months later. So that was pretty funny.
Is it okay if I stalk you? I felt like a stalker when
Well, you are a stalker.
Okay.
So yeah, then we got into Great Falls, and it was like 91 miles. We had these huge headwinds from the north, and we had another 90-mile day for the next day, and we had several hours of daylight left, so we thought, well, maybe we can go ahead, and that way we'll avoid some of these forecasted headwinds that were forecast for the next day. But after eating dinner, we just didn't have the gas. So
Jen's face was like...
Yeah, Jen was essentially drooling
I was done.
on herself at the table.
Done.
So we just ended up getting into this like really skanky, cheap motel. That was fine,
It was
I guess.
clean enough. I wore my flip-flops.
In the shower.
Everywhere.
That's good. That's good. No fungus for Jen. But yeah, I mean, it was fine. It was super cheap.
But so it was, we could get up early and didn't have to pack up the tent, so we could get up early.
Right. So we ended up getting up the next morning at 5 a.m. and heading out. But
Yeah.
So that was the day. It was a long, hard day, and then we slept in a crappy motel.
All right, that's all
it.
for today.
Bye.